Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Liberty, watching the stars through the large window. His hands were behind his back, and his face showed no emotion. But inside, his heart was beating fast. Today would change everything. "Admiral, we're getting close to the meeting point," said Commander Lisa Barnes. She was his best officer, smart and brave. Lisa had been with him for 10 years, through many battles. Jake nodded slowly. "Good. Are all ships ready?" "Yes, sir." "All 12. Ships are in position. The Zephyrians think we're just diplomats coming to talk peace." Jake almost smiled, but stopped himself. The Zephyrians had no idea what was really coming their way. For 5 years, these aliens had been taking human colonies. They stole people from their homes and made them slaves. They lied about it too. Everyone saying they were innocent, but humans knew the truth. "Captain Sullivan, report," Jake said into his communication device. "USS Defiance ready, Admiral," came Rick Sullivan's voice. Rick was a good captain, tough and reliable. "My sensors are picking up something strange, though." "What is it?" "There are military buildings under the moon's surface. Big ones. The Zephyrians have been hiding weapons down there." Jake felt anger rise in his chest, but kept his voice calm. "How many weapons?" "Enough to destroy a whole planet, sir." This was exactly what Jake had expected. The Zephyrians never planned to make real peace. They wanted to kill all the human leaders in one place and attack Earth with no one to stop them. "Keep watching them, Rick. Don't let them know we can see their hidden base." "Yes, sir." Jake looked around his bridge. His crew was working hard, checking systems and preparing for what was coming. They all knew this was not really a peace mission. Every person on every ship knew they were here to fight. Dr. Sam Rodriguez walked up to Jake. Sam was the ship's alien expert. He studied the Zephyrians and their culture for years. "Admiral, I've been listening to their radio messages," Sam said quietly. "They're planning something bad. Tell me." "After the peace talks end, they want to kill Ambassador Phillips and everyone with her. Then they'll attack Earth immediately." Jake's jaw tightened. Ambassador Kate Phillips was down on the moon right now, sitting with the Zephyrian leaders. But Kate was not just a diplomat. She used to be a general in the human military. She was smart, tough, and knew how to fight. "How long do we have?" Jake asked. "Maybe 2 hours. They're waiting for more of their ships to arrive first." Jake turned to Lisa. "Send a secret message to all captains. Tell them to get ready for battle, but stay hidden." "Yes, sir." Jake watched the moon getting bigger as they moved closer. On its surface, Kate Phillips was probably drinking alien tea and smiling, pretending to care about peace. The Zephyrians thought she was weak and scared. They had no idea she was one of the most dangerous humans alive. Captain Tony Walker's voice came through the radio from the USS Vengeance. "Admiral, I'm seeing more Zephyrian ships coming into the system. Big ones." "How many?" "At least 30 ships, sir. Maybe more. They're bringing their whole war fleet." Perfect, Jake thought. The more ships they brought, the bigger message this would send to the galaxy. "Let them come," Jake said. "The more the better." Lieutenant Commander Amy Chun looked up from her station. Amy was young, but very smart with computers and communications. "Sir, the Zephyrians are broadcasting the peace talks to their whole empire. They're showing their people how they're about to crush the humans." Jake smiled for the first time today. "Are they recording everything?" "Yes, sir. Every alien in their empire is watching." "Even better. They'll all see what really happens." On the moon below, the peace talks were happening in a big building made of white stone. Kate Phillips sat across from High Chancellor Vextar, the leader of the Zephyrian Empire. Vextar looked like a giant lizard with blue skin and yellow eyes. He thought he was very smart and powerful. Kate was reading through boring peace papers. asking lots of questions about small details. She was making the talks take a very long time on purpose. Every minute she delayed gave Jake more time to get ready. "These terms are very complex," Kate said in her diplomatic voice. "I need to understand every detail before I can agree." Vexstar was getting annoyed. His yellow eyes showed his anger. "Human, these terms are generous. Your people should be grateful we offer you anything." Kate smiled sweetly. "Of course, Chancellor. I just want to make sure everything is perfect for both our peoples." But behind her smile, Kate was counting down the minutes. She knew Jake was up there, preparing to show these aliens what humans could really do when they stopped being nice. Back on the USS Liberty, Jake received a message from Colonel Beth Martinez. Beth commanded all the Marines on the fleet. She was tough as steel and twice as hard. "Admiral, my people are ready for ground fighting. Just give us the word." "Soon, Beth, very soon." Chief Engineer Dan Foster reported that all weapons were charged and ready. The humans had new plasma cannons that could cut through any alien ship armor. The Zephyrians had no idea these weapons existed. Jake looked out at the alien fleet surrounding them. 30 big ships, all pointed at the human vessels. The aliens thought they had the humans trapped and helpless. They were about to learn how wrong they were. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison," Jake said into his radio. "In 1 hour, we show the galaxy who we really are. Stay ready." The trap was set. The Zephyrians thought they were about to win their greatest victory. Instead, they were about to face their worst nightmare: humans at war. The peace talks were going exactly as planned, which meant they were going very slowly. Ambassador Kate Phillips kept asking the same questions over and over. She wanted to know about every small detail in the peace agreement. This was making High Chancellor Vexstar very angry. "Human female, why do you waste our time with these stupid questions?" Vexstar hissed. His blue skin was getting darker, which meant he was getting mad. Kate smiled and opened another folder of papers. "I'm sorry, Chancellor, but this agreement will affect billions of people. I must be careful." What Vexstar didn't know was that Kate was buying time for Admiral Morrison. Every minute she delayed gave the human fleet more time to prepare. Up in space, more Zephyrian ships were arriving every few minutes. Captain Tony Walker watched them from the USS Vengeance. He counted 40 ships now, then 50, then 60. It was becoming the largest alien fleet ever seen. "Admiral Morrison, they keep bringing more ships," Tony reported. "I think they're bringing everything they have." "Perfect," Jake said. "Let them bring their whole fleet. It will make our victory even more impressive." Commander Lisa Barnes was studying the alien ships through her sensors. "Sir, they're positioning themselves around us. It looks like they plan to attack from all sides." "Good. We want them to think they have us surrounded." Lieutenant Commander Amy Chun looked worried as she watched her computer screens. "Admiral, they're still broadcasting this to their whole empire. Millions of aliens are watching, waiting to see the humans get destroyed." Jake smiled. "Amy, in a few minutes, those millions of aliens are going to see something very different. They're going to see why you should never make humans angry." Down on the moon, Kate Phillips was still reading papers when her secret communication device buzzed quietly. It was a message from Jake. 30 minutes until showtime. Kate nodded slightly and looked up at Vexstar. "Chancellor, I think we're making good progress. But I have some concerns about Section 47 of the trade agreement." Vexstar's yellow eyes flashed with anger. "What concerns?" "Well, it says here that humans must give up all mining rights in the outer systems. But what happens to the people who already live there?" "They will serve the Zephyrian Empire, as is proper." Kate pretended to look shocked. "Serve? You mean as workers? As slaves, human? Just like all your people will be slaves soon." Kate wrote this down carefully, even though she was recording everything secretly. This confession would be useful later. Meanwhile, Captain Rick Sullivan was watching the hidden military base under the moon's surface. His sensors showed hundreds of big weapons and thousands of alien soldiers. "Admiral, the base down there is huge," Rick reported. "They have enough firepower to destroy Earth's whole defense fleet." "Not anymore they don't," Jake replied. "In 20 minutes, that base will be dust." Dr. Sam Rodriguez was still listening to alien radio messages. What he heard made him very angry. "Admiral, you need to hear this," Sam said. "The Zephyrians are planning to broadcast the execution of our diplomats. They want to show the whole galaxy what happens to humans who oppose them." Jake's hands turned into fists. These aliens had been hurting humans for years, and now they wanted to make it into entertainment. "How much longer until their fleet is in position?" Jake asked. 15 minutes, sir. They're taking their time because they think we can't fight." Back, Colonel Beth Martinez reported that her Marines were ready to attack the moon base. "Admiral, my people are excited. We've been waiting years to pay back these aliens for what they did to our colonies. Soon, Beth, very soon." Chief Engineer Ben Foster double-checked all the weapon systems. The plasma cannons were fully charged. The missile tubes were loaded. The shield generators were ready. Every system on every ship was perfect. "All weapons ready, Admiral," Dan reported. "We can start the fight any time you want." Back in the peace talks, Vextar was getting more impatient. He kept looking at a device on his wrist that showed him where his fleet was. "Human Phillips, we have talked enough. It is time to sign the agreement." Kate looked up from her papers. "Oh, but Chancellor, I still have many questions. For example, what happens to human children under this agreement?" "Human children will be raised as servants of the Empire. The weak ones will be eliminated." Kate's smile never changed, but inside, she felt sick. These aliens were monsters. They deserved everything that was about to happen to them. "I see. And what about human culture? Our art, our music, our history?" "All of that will be destroyed. Humans will learn only what the Empire wants them to know." Kate nodded as if this was reasonable. "I understand. And how exactly do you plan to enforce these rules?" Vextar pointed toward the ceiling. "My fleet will destroy any humans who resist. Today, when these talks end, we will execute you and your team as an example. Then we will attack Earth immediately." "How interesting," Kate said calmly. "And you're broadcasting all of this to your Empire?" "Yes. All Zephyrians will see human weakness today. They will see their Empire's great victory." Kate smiled. "They will certainly see something." Up in space, the Zephyrian fleet was finally in position. 65 warships surrounded the 12 human vessels. Each alien ship was 3 times bigger than the human ships. Their weapons were pointed directly at the humans. Admiral Morrison looked around his bridge. Every person was ready. Lisa Barnes had her finger on the weapons control. Amy Chun was ready to broadcast their message to the galaxy. Dr. Rodriguez was monitoring alien communications. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison," Jake said quietly, into his radio. "In 5 minutes, we show the galaxy what humans are really made of. Stay sharp." Captain Tony Walker replied from the USS Vengeance. "We're ready, Admiral. Let's make them pay." Captain Rick Sullivan added, "USS Defiance standing by. Time to free our people." One by one, all 12 captains reported they were ready for battle. Down. On the moon, Kate's communication device buzzed 2 minutes. She looked up at Vextar. "Chancellor, I think I'm ready to give you our final answer." "Finally," Vextar said. He signaled to his guards, who moved closer to Kate and her team. "What is your answer, human?" Kate stood up slowly. Her diplomatic smile was gone. In its place was something cold and dangerous. Our answer, Chancellor, is that you picked the wrong species to mess with. Vexstar looked confused. What do you mean? Kate pressed a button on her communication device. Admiral Morrison, this is General Phillips. You are cleared for Operation Payback. Up in space, Admiral Morrison heard the message he had been waiting for. All ships, he said. Drop the disguises. Show them who we really are. The moment Admiral Morrison gave the order, everything changed. Across all 12 human ships, panels slid away to reveal massive weapons that had been hidden inside. The ships that looked like peaceful diplomatic vessels suddenly showed their true nature. They were warships, the most advanced warships humans had ever built. High Chancellor Vexstar stared at Kate Phillips in shock. General Phillips, you are not a diplomat? Kate smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. I used to be. A general, Chancellor. I've killed more of your people than anyone else in the human military. They sent me here because I know exactly how to hurt you. Guards, arrest her. Vexstar shouted Dot, but Kate's team was ready. They were not diplomats either. They were elite soldiers dressed as peaceful negotiators. In seconds, they had weapons out and were fighting the alien guards. Up in space, the real battle was beginning. All ships fire at will. Admiral Morrison commanded. The USS Liberty's plasma cannons charged up with a bright blue light. Lisa Barnes aimed them at the largest Zephyrian ship and pulled the trigger. The plasma beam cut through space like a sword made of lightning. It hit the alien ship's shields and went right through them as if they were paper. The beam sliced the huge ship in half. Both pieces exploded in brilliant orange fire. The Zephyrians had never seen weapons like this before. Impossible, shouted the alien fleet commander. No human weapons can do that. But Captain Rick Sullivan was already proving him wrong. The USS Defiance fired 6 plasma beams at once, destroying 3 more alien ships before they could even turn around. This is for Colony 7. Rick yelled as he fired again. Not Captain Tony Walker, attacked from the other side. The USS Vengeance lived up to its name, destroying alien ships one after another. And this is for New Boston, Tony shouted. The Zephyrian fleet tried to fight back, but they were confused and scared. They had expected to attack helpless diplomatic ships. Instead, they were facing the human military's most secret weapons. Commander Pete Jackson led the USS Thunder and 3 other ships in a flanking attack. They came from the side where the aliens least expected it. Pete's ships destroyed half the alien escort fleet before the Zephyrians even knew they were under attack. Admiral, their command ship is trying to run away, reported Lisa Barnes. Don't let it escape, Jake ordered. Fire everything we have. The USS Liberty unleashed its full power. Plasma beams, missiles, and energy torpedoes all hit the command ship at once. The massive alien vessel disappeared in a ball of fire, so bright it could be seen from the moon's surface down on the moon. Kate Phillips and her team had taken control of the meeting building. The alien guards were all dead or captured. Vexstar was on his knees, his yellow eyes wide with fear. How? He whispered. We had you surrounded. We had more ships. Kate walked over to him. You made 2 big mistakes, Chancellor. First, you thought humans were weak and peaceful. Second, you made us angry. She activated her communication device. Admiral Morrison, the moon base is ready for your visit. Copy that, General. Sending the Marines now. Colonel Beth Martinez had been waiting for this moment for years. She commanded 2,000 of the toughest humans ever born. They had all lost family or friends to Zephyrian slave raids. Marines, let's go pay them back. Beth shouted as her dropships left the human fleet. The dropships were small and fast, designed to avoid enemy fire. But there was no enemy fire anymore. Most of the Zephyrian fleet was destroyed or running away. Beth's Marines landed at 6 different points around the hidden military base. They used special bombs to blast through the ground and get inside the alien tunnels. The Zephyrians in the base had been watching the space battle on their screens. They saw their mighty fleet get destroyed in less than an hour. Many of them were already surrendering before the Marines even reached them. But not all of them gave up. Captain Helen Gray led one team of Marines through the main tunnel system. The aliens had built a maze under the moon, with hundreds of rooms full of weapons and supplies. "Burn it all," Helen ordered. "Every weapon, every computer, every piece of equipment they have." Her Marines used firebombs to destroy everything. They found alien weapons that could have destroyed planets were melted into useless metal. Computer systems that stored attack plans were turned to ash. Meanwhile, Captain Roy Adams was coordinating attacks from space. The human ships used their precision weapons to target specific buildings on the moon's surface. At building there, Roy told his gunner, pointing at a communication tower, "Take it out." The plasma beam came down from space like the finger of an angry god. The alien communication tower vanished in a flash of blue light. Dr. Sam Rodriguez was monitoring alien radio communications from across their empire. What he heard made him smile. "Admiral, aliens all over the galaxy are getting reports of this battle. They're scared. Some of them are asking their governments to make peace with humans immediately." "Good," Jake replied. "Let them all know what happens when you mess with human colonies." Lieutenant Commander Amy Chun was recording everything and broadcasting it back to Earth, but she was also sending the recording to other alien species. "Sir, I'm sending this battle footage to every alien government we know about. They'll all see what human warships can really do." Jake nodded. "Make sure they get a clear view of what's left of the Zephyrian fleet." What was left was not much. Out of 65 alien warships, only 12 were still in one piece, and those were trying to escape as fast as they could. "Should we chase them, Admiral?" asked Captain Sullivan. "No, let them run. Let them tell everyone what they saw here." Down on the moon, the Marines had finished clearing out the underground base. Colonel Martinez reported that they had captured over 3,000 alien soldiers and destroyed enough weapons to supply 10 invasion fleets. "Any casualties on our side?" Jake asked. 17 wounded, sir. No deaths." Jake smiled grimly. 17 wounded against an entire alien fleet and military base. The humans had achieved complete victory. General Phillips brought High Chancellor Vextar up to the surface. The alien leader looked around at the smoking ruins of his secret base. Human Marines were everywhere, guarding alien prisoners and destroying equipment. "This is impossible," Vextar kept saying. "Humans are weak. Humans are peaceful. This cannot be happening." Kate knelt down next to him. "Let me explain something to you, Chancellor. Humans are peaceful when we're left alone. But when someone hurts our people, when someone takes our children as slaves, when someone threatens our homes, we become something else entirely." She pointed up at the human fleet in the sky. "Those ships up there? They're not even our best ones. This is just what we sent to a peace meeting. You really don't want to see what we send to a war." Vextar looked at the destroyed alien ships floating in space. His mighty fleet, the pride of his empire, was nothing but wreckage and debris. "What do you want from us?" he asked quietly. Kate smiled that cold smile again. "Oh, Chancellor, we're just getting started." Admiral Morrison looked down at the burning moon base and felt no pity for the aliens. They had started this war 5 years ago when they began stealing human colonies. Now they were learning what happened when humans finished a war. "Phase 2 begins now," Jake announced to his fleet. "No mercy. The second phase was not about destroying ships in space. It was about making sure the Zephyrian Empire could never hurt humans again. Every military base, every weapons factory, every training facility, all of it had to be destroyed. Captain Helen Gray led her Marines deeper into the underground tunnels. They found rooms full of human prisoners, people who had been taken from the colonies and brought here as slaves. "Get them out of here," Helen ordered her medics. "Get them medical help and food." The rescued humans were in bad shape. They had been beaten, starved, and forced to work in terrible conditions. Many of them cried when they saw the Marine uniforms. "Are we really free?" asked an old man who had been taken from Colony 12. "Yes, sir," Helen replied. "You're free, and we're going to make sure this never happens to anyone else." Colonel Beth Martinez found something even worse in the deeper tunnels. It was a laboratory where alien scientists had been experimenting on human children. Beth had seen many terrible things in her military career, but this made her so angry she could barely speak. "Burn this place," she told her Marines. "Burn every piece of equipment. Make sure nothing is left." The Marines used fire bombs and explosives to destroy the laboratory. They made sure every alien scientist inside was dead before they left. "Admiral Morrison, this is Colonel Martinez," Beth reported over the radio. "We found evidence of experiments on human children. I'm sending you the recordings." Jake watched the recordings and felt sick. These aliens were not just enemies. They were monsters. They deserved everything that was happening to them and more. "Beth, are any of the children still alive?" "Yes, sir. We found about 50 of them. They're hurt, but they'll live. We're getting them medical help now. Good work. Make sure they get the best care we can give them." Up in space, the surviving Zephyrian ships were trying to escape the system. But Captain Tony Walker had moved the USS Vengeance and 4 other ships to block their escape route. "Admiral, should we let them go?" Tony asked. "Let a few escape," Jake replied. "But not many. I want most of their fleet destroyed here. The ones who escape can tell their empire what they saw." Tony smiled. "Copy that, sir. Picking targets now." The USS Vengeance opened fire on the fleeing alien ships. Its plasma cannons reached across space and destroyed 3 ships in quick sequence. The other human ships joined in, turning the alien retreat into a slaughter. Only 5 Zephyrian ships made it out of the system alive. 60 ships had come to destroy the human diplomats. Only 5 would return home to tell their empire about the disaster. Captain Rick Sullivan reported that his sensors were picking up more interesting targets. "Admiral, there are 3 Zephyrian military stations in nearby systems. Should we pay them a visit?" "Absolutely. But first, let's finish cleaning up here." On the moon's surface, General Phillips was interrogating High Chancellor Vex Star. She wanted to know everything about Zephyrian military bases, slave camps, and invasion plans. "Tell me about the slave camps," Kate demanded. Vex Star tried to look defiant, but he was too scared. "There are 12 camps in different systems. Each one holds about 10,000 human prisoners." Kate wrote this down. "Where are they?" "I will not tell you." Kate signaled to one of her Marines. The Marine grabbed one of Vex Star's arms and twisted it until the alien screamed. "I'll ask again," Kate said calmly. "Where are the slave camps?" Vex Star gave her the locations of all. 12 camps. He also told her about weapons factories, training bases, and storage facilities. "Admiral Morrison," Kate reported, "I have targets for you. 12 slave camps that need immediate liberation." "Copy that, General. I'm dispatching liberation fleets now." Jake had been planning for this moment. Hidden throughout human space were small fleets of fast ships, waiting for orders. Now those fleets received their targets and jumped to hyperspace. Each liberation fleet had the same mission. get to a slave camp, destroy the alien guards, and free the human prisoners. They were ordered to show no mercy to any aliens they found. Dr. Sam Rodriguez was monitoring communications across the galaxy. The news of the battle was spreading fast. Admiral, other alien species are talking about what happened here. Some of them are scared. Others are impressed. What are they saying? The Centauri Republic wants to make an alliance with us. The Vegan Confederacy is asking if we need any help. But the Andromedan Empire is talking about attacking us before we get stronger. Jake smiled coldly. Let them try. We'll show them the same thing we showed the Zephyrians. Lieutenant Sarah Bell was working on the communication systems. She had an important job, making sure every alien government got a clear recording of the battle. Sir, I've sent the battle footage to 47 different alien species. They're all going to see what human warships can do. Good. Make sure. They understand the message. Leave humans alone, or end up like the Zephyrians. Captain Frank Turner aboard the USS Justice reported that his ship's sensors were detecting something interesting. Admiral, there's a Zephyrian supply convoy about 6 hours away. 12 cargo ships with military escorts. Intercept and destroy, Jake ordered. No survivors. The USS Justice and 2 other ships jumped to hyperspace to hunt down the convoy. It would be target practice for the human crews. Meanwhile, the Marine teams on the moon had finished their work. Every alien weapon was destroyed. Every computer system was burned. Every piece of military equipment was turned to scrap metal. Underground base that had taken the aliens 5 years to build was completely ruined in less than 6 hours. Admiral, this is Colonel Martinez. The moon base is completely destroyed. We've rescued about 200 human prisoners and captured 3,000 aliens. What should we do with the alien prisoners? Jake asked. Kate Phillips answered for him. Put them to work cleaning up the mess they made. They can rebuild the damage they did to human colonies. The ones who refuse to work don't get food. Jake nodded. It was fair justice. The aliens had made humans work as slaves. Now they could see how it felt. Captain Roy Adams was coordinating the final cleanup of the space battle. Human salvage ships were collecting useful technology from the destroyed alien vessels. We're finding some interesting things in these wrecks, Admiral. New types of armor, advanced computers, better engines. Take everything useful, Jake ordered. Our engineers can figure out how to make it even better. As the sun set on the moon's surface, the battle was finally over. The Zephyrian Empire's greatest fleet was destroyed. Their secret military base was in ruins. Their invasion plans were captured. Their slaves were being freed. But Admiral Morrison knew this was just the beginning. All ships, prepare for the next phase, he announced. We're going to visit every Zephyrian world and make sure they understand our message. High Chancellor Vexstar looked up at Kate Phillips with defeat in his yellow eyes. What happens now? He asked. Kate smiled. Now you learn what it feels like to be conquered. 3 days after the battle, Admiral Morrison sat in what used to be High Chancellor Vexstar's command center. The alien leader was on his knees before a communication screen, speaking to the Zephyrian High Council on their home world. The human fleet has destroyed everything, Vexstar said, his voice shaking. Our greatest fleet is gone. Our secret base is destroyed. They have weapons we cannot fight. The faces on the screen looked shocked and angry. These were the most powerful aliens in the Zephyrian Empire, and they had never seen their forces defeated so completely. This is impossible, said High Counselor Zexron. Humans are weak creatures. They cannot have done this. Admiral Morrison stepped into view of the camera. Hello, counselors. I'm Admiral Jake Morrison, commander of the human fleet that destroyed your invasion force. The aliens on the screen stared at him with hatred and fear. You want to see weak? Jake continued. Let me show you what we found in your secret base. The screen switched to recordings from the underground laboratory. It showed alien scientists experimenting on human children, torturing prisoners, and planning even worse things. We found 50 human children in your laboratory, Jake said. Children you stole from their families to use in your sick experiments. The alien counselors tried to look innocent. We know nothing about this, Zexron lied. Jake smiled coldly. Really? Then explain this. He played another recording. It was Vextar himself, giving orders to capture more human children for the experiments. You have two choices, Jake told the High Council. You can surrender and face human justice, or you can fight and face human anger. I recommend surrender. We will never surrender to inferior beings, shouted another counselor. Your choice, Jake replied. He turned off the communication screen and looked at his officers. Lisa, are our liberation fleets in position? Commander. Lisa Barnes checked her reports. Yes, sir. All 12 slave camps have been liberated. We freed over 100,000 human prisoners. The alien guards at each camp are dead. Good. What about the supply convoys? Captain Tony Walker answered from his ship. We've destroyed 17 Zephyrian supply convoys in the last 3 days. Their military is running out of food, fuel, and ammunition. Dr. Sam Rodriguez had been monitoring alien communications across the Empire. Admiral, the Zephyrian planets are starting to panic. Some of them are asking their government to make peace with us. And what is the government saying? They're telling everyone to fight to the death. But many aliens don't want to die for their leaders' mistakes. Jake nodded. This was exactly what he had hoped for. When people saw their leaders making stupid decisions, they sometimes decided to make better decisions themselves. Lieutenant Sarah. Bell reported that her communications were working perfectly. Sir, the battle recordings have been seen by every major alien government in the galaxy. Many of them are sending us messages. What kind of messages? The smart ones are asking for peace treaties. The stupid ones are making threats. Jake smiled. Good. Let the stupid ones make threats. We'll deal with them after we finish with the Zephyrians. General Phillips came into the command center with more information from her interrogations. Admiral, I've learned some interesting things from our prisoners. Tell me. The Zephyrian military is mostly based on 3 planets. If we destroy their facilities on those planets, they won't be able to fight anymore. Where are these planets? Kate gave him the coordinates. The first one is Zephyr Prime, their homeworld. The second is Zephyr Military, their main training planet. The third is Zephyr Industrial, where they build all their weapons. Jake studied the star charts. All 3 planets were heavily defended, but that didn't matter anymore. Human weapons could punch through any defenses the aliens had. How long to get there? He asked. 2 days to Zephyr Military, 4 days to Zephyr Industrial, 6 days to Zephyr Prime. Perfect. We'll visit all 3. Jake turned to his communication. Officer, Sarah, send a message to Earth. Tell them to send the Second Fleet to meet us at Zephyr Prime. Yes, sir. What should I tell them about our mission? Tell them we're ending this war once and for all. Meanwhile, on the 12 planets that had held human slave camps, something wonderful was happening. The freed prisoners were being taken care of by human medical teams and transport ships. Captain Helen Gray was on Colony Recovery 7, helping to organize the evacuation of freed slaves. Many of these people had been prisoners for years. They could barely believe they were really free. Captain, said a woman who had been a slave for 3 years, is it really over? Are we really going home? Yes, ma'am, Helen replied. You're going home, and the aliens who hurt you are never going to hurt anyone again. Colonel Beth Martinez was on another planet, making sure the alien guards who had run the slave camps got what they deserved. She had set up special courts where the freed human prisoners could tell their stories and decide what should happen to their former captors. "This alien beat my son to death," said one freed prisoner, pointing at a Zephyrian guard. "He laughed while he did it," Beth nodded. "Then he dies." The justice was swift and final. The aliens who had shown no mercy to human prisoners received no mercy in return. Back with the main fleet, Admiral Morrison was preparing for the final phase of the war. The human ships were loaded with enough firepower to destroy planets if necessary. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison," Jake announced. "We're going to visit the 3 most important Zephyrian worlds. Our mission is simple, and their ability to make war forever." Captain Rick Sullivan responded from the USS Defiance. "Admiral, what if they tried to surrender?" "They had their chance to surrender. They chose to fight. Now they get to see what human warfare really looks like." The human fleet jumped to hyperspace, heading for Zephyr Military. It was the training world where young Zephyrians learned to be soldiers. More importantly, it was where they learned to hate humans. When the human fleet arrived at Zephyr Military, they found exactly what they expected. The planet was covered with military bases, training camps, and weapons factories. Orbital defense stations surrounded the planet like a metal ring. "Incoming message from the planet, Admiral," reported Amy Chun. "Put it on screen." A Zephyrian general appeared, his blue skin dark with anger. "Human ships, you will leave this system immediately or be destroyed." Jake smiled. "General, I'm Admiral Morrison. I'm here to close down your military academy permanently." "You cannot defeat our defenses?" the general shouted. "Watch me." Jake gave the order, and 12 human ships opened fire at once. The plasma beams reached across space and hit the orbital defense stations. Each station exploded in a ball of fire. In less than 10 minutes, all the defenses around the planet were destroyed. "Impossible," whispered the Zephyrian general. "Now, for the planet itself," Jake said. The human ships moved into bombing position. They used precision strikes to destroy every military building on the planet's surface. Training camps, weapons factories, command centers, everything was turned to ash. Dr. Rodriguez monitored the planet's communications. "Admiral, they're begging us to stop. They say they surrender." "Too late for that," Jake replied. "They should have thought about surrender before they started experimenting on human children." The bombardment continued for 6 hours. When it was over, Zephyr Military was no longer a military planet. It was just a dead rock floating in space. "Next stop, Zephyr Industrial," Jake announced. The fleet jumped to hyperspace again. Zephyr Industrial was where the aliens built their weapons and ships. It was also where they had planned to build the invasion fleet that would conquer Earth. Defenses at Zephyr Industrial were even stronger, but it didn't matter. Human plasma weapons cut through alien shields like they were soap bubbles. The orbital shipyards were destroyed first, then the weapons factories on the surface. Captain Frank Turner led a team of Marines to the planet's surface. They found huge factories where aliens had been building ships designed specifically to attack human colonies. "Burn it all," Frank ordered. "Every blueprint, every computer, every piece of equipment." His Marines used firebombs and explosives to destroy years of alien military research. Weapons that could have killed millions of humans were melted into useless metal. "Admiral, this is Captain Turner. The industrial planet is completely destroyed. They won't be building any more weapons here." "Excellent work, Frank. Time for the final stop." The human fleet jumped to hyperspace one last time. Their destination was Zephyr Prime, the home world of the Zephyrian Empire. It was where the High Council lived, where the orders to enslave humans had come from. When they arrived, they found the Second Fleet waiting for them. Admiral Morrison now commanded 24 of the most powerful warships humans had ever built. The defenses around Zephyr Prime were massive. Hundreds of orbital weapons platforms, dozens of defensive fleets, energy shields that could protect the whole planet. The aliens had spent centuries building these defenses. It took the human fleet 2 hours to destroy everything. The plasma cannons fired continuously, turning alien ships into expanding clouds of gas. The orbital platforms exploded one after another. The planetary shields collapsed under the constant bombardment. When the way was clear, Admiral Morrison sent a message to the planet's surface. High Council of the Zephyrian Empire, this is Admiral Morrison. Your military is destroyed. Your